from Island Sun Tarot. Welcome to my October favorites. So who's ready for Christmas lights and Christmas music? I almost am, I admit, but I'm still enjoying my pumpkin scone from Starbucks, so as long as those last, I'm here for it. So I did have some repeats from last month, so I'm sorry about that, but there's just no avoiding it. And then a bunch of fun books, so let's just get started. I'll do the repeats first and we'll just get through it quick because I know I've showed them a lot, but if this is your first time joining in, I always mention these decks, so I'm so sorry that I'm just going to try and be quick. So I have the Isis Oracle. This is the only Oracle deck that I've been using recently, and I just love it. I know you all know I love it. The backs, pull a card in the morning, do a card at night, sit and have some tea. It's wonderful to sit with. It's very nurturing, and I can't get enough of it, obviously, because I think I've mentioned it almost, if not all, several months in a row here. I just think the artwork is stunning. I couldn't live without this deck. So yes, I don't see myself putting this down anytime soon, so I will try to just mention it briefly like this if it appears in any other monthly favorites. And then the next, which will come as no surprise as well, is a repeat, is the Tarot Vampires. So this is just, it's been so fun, and I don't think I'll put it down once the season's over, even though I purchased it for the season. Oh, I love it so much. It's so, I don't want to say cheesy because I don't mean it like that, because it definitely has its moments, I'm sorry about the glare, where it just makes me laugh a little, but in a really nice way that I appreciate from it, because sometimes you just need that, right? It's been really fun to work with. And if you haven't seen already the best companion book, guidebook video, I mentioned the book for this. Been using that this month too. It's just really fun. Super, super fun. I can't get over it. Okay, one more. I'm sorry, I know I showed this before. But yeah, it's just very clear readings from it, even though like we're having a good time. It's just clear, straightforward. No ifs, ands, or buts. I haven't done a reading with it yet where I felt like I needed to pull a clarifying card, and so far I've just been using it by itself. I haven't paired it with any oracle or anything at all. It's just it by itself, whether I'm pulling one card or doing a full spread. It's excellent, and I love it so, so much. And I'll just real fast, I know I've shared before, but I did the edges in like a ruby metallic Sharpie, and oh, I just feel like it goes just so well with like this color that's in between the thorns behind the rose. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm just in love with the color. Okay. The other that I was using this month is the Darkness of Light Tarot. And this deck I definitely use year-round, but it just really felt perfect for the season. And the last deck that I'm going to mention, it's a little heavy for me to work with, and this feels effortless and like we know each other very well. And so it's like, I don't want to say easy because this deck definitely has a lot of depth too, so I don't want to use the word easy and give the wrong impression, but I think it just it feels familiar. That's a good way to put it. And so it's been nice to kind of take a break from this last deck I'm going to mention, and using this and the Vampire Tarot, since the Vampire Tarot can be so cheeky. This one I just really, really love a lot of the cards. The entire deck I really love, but there are just so many cards that I enjoy so much in this. It's kind of peaceful for me to use this deck. All right. So last but not least for tarot is the Brady Tarot. So this is one of the ones that I was going to set aside some time. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the tsunami warning thing. I told myself I was going to set aside some time to do, oh, I guess I should clarify. On the 1st of the month, they do the tsunami warning just to test it. There's no tsunami. Sorry. I digress. Brady Tarot. So this is one of the ones that I had mentioned in my autumn time decks that I wanted to set aside some time to actually work with and try to get to know a little bit better, because I really don't feel like I've ever really given it the time of day. And then also because it can be a little, or at least for me, it was just a little aggressive. And it kind of slapped me on the hand a couple of times, and I was like, ooh, I don't know how I feel about you. I don't know if I want to be friends anymore. Gosh, that's so bad. And the dogs are howling too. Oh, not my dogs, the neighbor dogs. Okay, sorry about that. I knew it was going to go for like another minute, and it was getting louder. Anyways, so I did set aside some time to work with the Brady Tarot. I'll show you the backs. So I have the 2nd edition that has the black border. But anyways, I was saying that I have found this deck to be a little abrasive, and I wanted to build a better relationship with it. So I don't want to use the word forcing. Gosh, that sounds so awful. But yeah, forcing myself to work with it. But it's been fun. It's been better this go round. And for this entire month, I put down my other animal decks that I would normally like to use. So like last month, I was obsessed with the Oak, Ash, and Thorn. Well, when am I not obsessed with that? But I told myself to put it down for this month to give this deck a chance to just fill that hole. Just let it speak to me with nothing overshadowing it or my thoughts of, ooh, I wish you were the Oak, Ash, and Thorn, but I'm forcing myself to work with you. No, none of that this month. So I just wanted to come to this deck just peaceful, open mind, trying to have that no fear, like, please don't slap me on the hand again. Like, don't make me want to put the cards away and cry. So yes, it's been actually going quite well. So really, it's more of a guiding force is the voice now that I'm really feeling. So I'm glad that I can put aside my thoughts of the aggression. And really, it's just forceful. It's a very powerful voice from this deck. And I've been enjoying the guidebook as well. It's very meaningful, again, with the depth in each card, with the not just the animal, the plants, the symbolism involved, sort of like we have here, this Native American sort of face in the moon. So they're including stories as well. That's really great. I love that historical look to it. And yeah, so it's been going really good. Will I keep it up for the whole month of November? Maybe not. I will probably still continue to use it if I feel called to. But I might take a little break and pick up one of my other animal decks. I think that setting aside the other decks helped me be able to sort of be open to and like having my mind clear, instead of pining after the other deck and being silly. I just embrace this. And speaking of embracing it, I used it for a lot of my Embrace the Magical that I was doing, along with Kelly from The Truth and Story. Her prompts were up on her Instagram. And so I was using this for a lot of her spreads, and then the daily pulls, along with the Darkness of Light and a couple others. So yeah, I don't think I got to every single day for that, but there were some really awesome prompts and it was fun. Still fun to go back and do some of the spreads too if you didn't get a chance to join in for the month of October. All right, so Brady Tarot, it's looking a lot better, guys. Doing good. It's, you know, it's got itself out of purgatory and being used, so that's all moving forward. All right, so now let's talk about, I would say crystals, but really it was just one crystal this month, sorry. So this is Dendritic Agate. And this particular style could also be considered like an orca stone. I'm gonna try and hold it real still so that you can see. But these two little spots that look like eyes there that are sort of yellowy orange, that's actually carnelian in this stone. Anyways, the feelings from this stone for me, it's a grounding stone. And I think that thought and that feeling that I was looking for and why this stone was calling to me this month, it sits on my table. And I just felt like, ooh, I think I'm just gonna hold that with me in my lap, working with the Brady Tarot. And that is a really earth-centered deck with the animals. It's based on North America. It has a lot of the Native American history within it. And I think that's why I was just really called to work with this month. So I've just been really enjoying it. Dendritic Agate. To me, it just feels really grounding, very earthy. And I love this particular piece. It's quite a strange shape, almost kind of like a kidney bean, I guess. I don't know, but it's perfect to hold. And it's just really beautiful. I don't think I'd be able to get it on the camera, but you can see sort of these like striations in it that are just real faint, even in the white. They're really nice. Just so gorgeous. So, Dendritic Agate, we've been 2 peas in a pod this month. All right, books. So let's do this one first because this was really fun. So this is Vampires of Lore, and I got it from my local apothecary store. It's called Hex and Rue. This was so much fun. So it's by A.P. Sylvia. So let me just read real fast from the contents, just so you can see some of the artwork in it is so cute. Okay. So it's just broken down into like each chapter. What is a vampire? Blood, drinking, stake through the heart, decapitation, fangs, becoming a vampire, sunlight, garlic, mirrors. So it's going into each of these sort of, I don't want to say phobia, myths about vampires. And it's either debunking it or researching into it, and it gives references for each one. So let's just look at garlic real fast. Here we go. So the font is actually quite small. So there were some illustrations within, but it's really just going into historical notes about it and maybe why the myth came about, if there's any truth in it, if there's any stories about it. And there's a lot of references. So at the end of each chapter, there's an endnote section, and they've referenced everything that they've talked about in this entire section. But it's just fun about how they go about it. Garlic is an old standby in the vampire hunter's arsenal. It often appears in fiction, where it serves as a vampire repellent. Pulp culture imagery seems to favor clothes of the pungent plant arranged in a string, perhaps for easy hanging. Interestingly, in the Dracula novel, Dr. Van Helsing uses the plant's flower rather than the bulb to keep the count at bay. So it literally just goes into books, movies, anything that's relevant, old tales and folklore, and it was fun. Great read for this month, super spooky, and it went along with my little vampire obsession I've been having right now. I don't know if it's just the season or this next one of these next books I'm going to mention that I was really looking forward to. So, Vampires of Lore, really fun. Myths, folklore, talks about it all. Okay, and then from my last favorites, I had started this Hades' Daughter by Sarah Douglas. So this was a reread for me. And I had mentioned that I knew it was like a time travel. And by time travel, it's more so this core essential characters are all woven together. So they're actually living out one life and being reborn, right? And that becomes sort of that time travel because of the different time periods that they're being reborn into, but they're all the same characters. So for instance, in this book, they were in ancient Greece, but it was giving you a little flash forward into 1939, where all the characters are mysteriously meeting up again. The very short little section is just giving you little hints. Most of the story was based in ancient Greece. And at the end of the book, they ended up in Albion, which is Great Britain. And so the second book, I'm excited to start. It's just I had some other things that I just really wanted to read, so I didn't dive right into the second book. So hopefully I'll be able to get to the second one this month. I do know that that picks up sort of in a Saxon era England. And gosh, her writing is just so intoxicating, and it just grabs you and pulls you in. Like once I got to a certain point in this book, I couldn't put it down, and I finished it in a matter of days. It really ropes you in, and it's not necessarily that it's just a cliffhanger every single chapter, or it just, you have to know, you have to just keep reading, and it's just so good. The characters are really great, and it's interesting how it makes you kind of want to like take sides, or, you know, because like it's not that any of these characters are all bad. Yes, there is that technical like good versus evil and what they're trying to accomplish for the whole entire story, even though it's a whole series, right? But it's hard not to sympathize with some of these characters or love them or understand them, and so it's interesting. So I'm excited to see the second one. It's just been such a long time since I read it, so I'm excited to see the character building and like the arc that they're going to go on for the second book. So Hades' Daughter by Sarah Douglas. So the reason why I didn't pick up the second one right away was because I got this from Barnes & Noble. This is Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. So I mentioned this in my bookshelf tour. I gabbed on about it for quite some time, and I apologize then because I'm going to do it again. So, okay. If you've seen Vampire Diaries or the originals, there's a character on there named Klaus. He's like one of the original vampires. And the actor that plays him in the show, his name is Joseph Morgan. I follow him on Instagram, and he shared this book. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I saw a really awesome book review about this book on a sort of a booktube channel that I watch called The Book Refuge. And on there, she mentioned that the author specifically sent him a book to read. I was like, oh, that's really fun. I think I'll have to pick it up. So this is actually the Barnes & Noble limited edition, and it's, well, I'll just tell you what you would get off the inside flap, is that it's been 27 years since the last day where there was sun. And so pretty much vampires have all taken over, and they have in their possession the last Silver Saint. So he's a vampire hunter, and he's actually half vampire. And so he has some magical abilities that helps him hunt and fight vampires, right? So because he's the last one, the queen wants his story to be chronicled. So there's a vampire named Jean-Francois, I'm probably butchering that, but he's there to chronicle Gabriel, the Silver Saint's story. So while Gabriel's telling the story and the vampire, Jean-Francois, is writing this all down, he's sort of sketching along a little bit. And so he's, you know, they're giving you these illustrations. So this one, there's actually a color one in the front, so I'll show you so you can see the color. So each of these sketches that they're giving, it's to go with the story that's being told by the Silver Saint, Gabriel. So this is Gabriel here. I showed you the black and white one. So yes, this book just absolutely stunning. Just, in my opinion, utter perfection when it comes to a book, and I'm pretty hard to please. So the vampire wants Gabriel to go in order. Take me back to where it all started. Where were you born? What did your parents do? You know, how did you find out you were half vampire, you know, to become a Silver Saint? But really, Gabriel just wants to pick up at a certain point. So their banter is really fun, really, really fun. And then also, it's interesting the types of vampires that he's included in this book. So if a vampire bites a person to turn them, they don't know if they're going to get the vampire of that person turned into a vampire the way that they are at that moment. That person will die and could be dead for a month, and then all of a sudden they're a vampire. So there's like different stages, and I feel like it's a little bit more like a zombie style vampire once they get to a certain point where they've been dead for so long. So then when they finally turn, they're not like cognitive of, you know, thoughts and speech and that kind of thing. So it's all a gamble. So it's not like a vampire is in love with a human and that they're going to be like, I'm going to turn you so we can be together forever. No, it doesn't work that way. And I actually really liked that thought and how he went about it. So that was really fun. And then also the whole order that he's involved with, the Silver Saints, the fact that they're all half vampire and how he had no idea. And they're taken from all over the country that they all live in. So they're just brought in from all over, and they're all half vampire and they're all trained together. So just, I loved it so, so much. I really, really did. And I can't wait for the second one. I do follow the author on Instagram, and he's currently writing it. So I can't wait. Empire the Vampire. If you're into any style vampire book at all, I recommend it. And then last but not least, I have the xhex. So when I started Book of the Month, I think it was back in June, I only ever got that first book. And then I thought if you didn't like any of the recommendations that you could just pick another book and just keep going. No, 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 no. You have to pick one of the 5 books that they're offering that month, and then you can add on whatever other books that you wanted. So for me, there were a lot of other books that I wanted to read, and I thought, oh, that's cool. I'll have plenty to pick from. No. So this was the first one that really appealed to me. It was one of the October picks. And thankfully I got it right in time, and I finished it just the day before Halloween. And it was so, so cute and really, really fun. So it's Vivian and Rice, they had like a summertime romance when I think she was 19. I don't know if they're the same age, I can't remember, but she was 19 for sure. And, you know, that burned hot and heavy, and then it ended. So now it's been 9 years. And they're both witches, which makes it really fun. And gosh, it was just really cute because they're set in a little town that just is obsessed with Halloween, and everybody decorates and everybody's involved, and they do carnivals, and that is just so cute. And I've never been that type of like, ooh, Halloween fall time person, but this really made you want to be. Me, I have my Starbucks and my pumpkin scone, and I'm like, yay, it's fall. I'm happy now. But this, it was just so cute and really fun. The writing was smooth and easy to read. And I gobbled it up, and it was perfect for the season. So I'm totally going to save it. I'll probably do a reread next year because it's just fun. So the xhex by Erin Sterling. Really, really great if you like a little witchy romance for the season. It was fun. All right, I think that's it for all those things. I wanted to mention last month, because I was waiting to get the ribbons in the mail, but over the summer I had mentioned that I had joined like a summer jumping series with my horse, and we had done quite well through the series, and it was like a 4-month thing, and then at the end it was going to be combined points for the whole entire series. And so I had actually got second place for all 4 months in a row, and I was really worried because that last month, it would have been August, recording the day that I had my boyfriend there, and I braided my horse, and it was like super early, and I had the course all set. I started warming it up, and he just didn't feel right. It wasn't that he was like sick or hurt or anything. It was just, he just didn't feel like all there. Like he wasn't in the mood. Really, that's how it felt. He wasn't in the mood. And so I admit I was getting just a little frustrated with him because he had done so well. and I needed to turn in something. And so I think I got like 2 nice trips through the course, and my boyfriend was like, you just need to pick the best one and just turn it in and hope for the best. You know, just do it. Don't skip this month, because he was being a little naughty. And I listened to his advice and I turned it in, and we ended up getting second again, and I couldn't believe it. So I had to wait a few days after those results to get the all-around results for the whole series. And to my great surprise, I ended up winning the whole entire series. So definitely that slow and steady wins the race, in the sense that I got second for every single month and the points just added up right. And I honestly wasn't really paying attention to what rider and horse combinations were getting first place each time. I was more so looking at their score. And so it turned out that there were 3 other people that had won out of those 4 months. So the points just worked out in my favor. I was really hoping I could wait to mention it until I had the ribbons, because they were doing, if you can just barely see these like blue and sort of white ones here. So they were going to send me one more for that, because that was second place for August. And then I thought maybe I'd get a either larger rosette or even one of the neckband ones for the championship points. But I haven't got them yet. So they're having a problem with their ribbon maker, and everything was a little bit behind. But I still wanted to mention it because I'm just so thankful and very, very grateful for my little horse, because he just worked so hard for me. He did so good, and I thought it was worth mentioning. I'm very, very excited because they decided to add the jumping only classes starting for the month of November. And just as a monthly class thing, not a big series again. So I'm excited to join in on some of that, because I told myself that I needed to go back to doing the combined training, which is like the blue and green, or yeah, blue and green. I almost said blue and orange. Ribbons up there, so you're doing a dressage test and a show jumping test, and you're combining it for a score. And I thought I was going to have to go back to doing that if I wanted to join in on their shows, but it turns out I might not have to. They're adding just the jumping class, so we'll see how it goes. Anyways, a little horsey tangent, sorry about that, but I wanted to include it. So, well, thank you so much for watching. Please include any books or decks or anything that you loved from the month in the comments below. I'd be happy to see it. And I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!